Chris Kelsey here with
Matt Howell.
And this week on the first run, Matt and I kept it local. We decided, you know what, there's really nothing that exciting in the theaters this week. Why don't we take it easy and see what we can watch on streaming? You know, kick off the shoes, grab a beer, sit on the couch, not have to worry about all the kids in the theaters and everything. So we decided to go with Mark Duplass's, well, he's just a producer though, right? He's not actually the director. The director's Patrick Brice. But we decided to go with Creep, which stars Mark Duplass as a guy who's, you know, he's doing one of those My Life things, right? Where he doesn't have a long time to live. So he hires somebody to kind of capture some video of him. So his unborn child's going to know, you know, what he was like as a person. Or not that at all. We'll tell you what's coming up on Blu-ray and DVD. And we'll tell you then, we're going to do Call It, actually, which I'm very excited about. Call It is one of my favorite segments where we present you with two options. You got to choose one or the other. And I have a very special one today in honor of Will Ferrell's birthday, a little bonus one. So we'll see how that goes. So first up, though, let's take a listen to Creep.
All right, we are leaving the flatlands and we are heading up towards the mountaintop. The ad said $1,000 for the day, filming services. Discretion is appreciated.
Are you on the door? I'm realizing that no one knows I'm here.
Hi! Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you.
I'm assuming you're Aaron.
Yeah, Aaron, nice to meet you.
Joseph. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is gonna be a good day.
So the reason I've hired you is because I have terminal brain cancer, and I want you to film me to make a video diary for my unborn son.
You ready for this?
Okay. Joseph!
This is called an adventure. We don't know exactly where we're going, but I have a feeling. When you follow those feelings, great things can happen. Don't ever forget that.
Joseph?
There was about 2 seconds there where it looked like you wanted to kill me.
So, Matt, Creep. I got a text from you last night that I didn't get until much later, so I wasn't able to respond. But I thought was interesting, where basically you weren't buying it. You weren't buying the film because you kept waiting for Taco and Ruxin to walk into the room.
This is very true. Mark Duplass, he's been in a wide variety of films. Some of which I've seen and I really liked. I really enjoyed the one I love. I haven't seen like The Lazarus Effect, but he's kind of got this whole smarmy kind of smart-ass persona, and that is in full effect hard mode right here. That's all I could see was that kind of smirking, you know, he's making fun of Andre kind of thing from The League, and it really kind of took me out of this whole thing. For a while, yeah. I think it was worse in the very beginning, but as it kind of went along, I kind of got more and more into it, and I think he kind of he kind of showed how unhinged he could be, and I started to really buy into it more as the movie went on.
Yeah, I think it does. The film does a really good job. So basically, it's. I want to stress too, because some people hate this stuff, but it's one of those found footage horror films, and I know some people can't really get behind that, but that's what it is, and I think it's one of the better ones. There's not that much shaky cam, so you don't have to take some Dramamine before you watch it. But it's so the guy he gets hired to come help him out, right? His name is Aaron. And there's just little things that that Duplass does. His character in this is Joseph, but as that kind of lets on, right, that there's something not quite right with this guy. But what I love about it is that it gives you just enough information to keep you moving as the film progresses. Right. And what I love about it is that it kind of subverts your expectations for what's supposed to happen in these types of movies, which I really liked. And because there's times when, all right, so the movie's Creep. We know that the guy's crazy, but also, you know, Duplass is part of that whole, I think him and his brother started it, that whole mumblecore movement, right? Which is very improvised, you know, kind of making a movie. So he could just be making a whole joke out of this whole thing, and maybe it's not going to be a horror film after all. I don't know with Duplass and his stable of people. So I'm wondering as it's going through, like, is this the whole thing just going to be one elaborate joke? But then I'm like, you know what though? What happened? So as it kind of the film, what am I trying to say? As it kind of takes these different directions on you every now and then, all right, you know what? Maybe it's not a horror film, and then it'll just do something so ridiculously obvious that that's exactly what's gonna happen. They're like, all right, yeah, that's right, that's what we're in for. So I don't know. I wrote my note down and it says, so maybe it's not a horror film, and then boom, of course, idiot, it's exactly a horror film.
Yeah.
And I think it's got some really great moments as well, and a lot of things where they do kind of play with your expectations of what's supposed to happen next in a horror movie. I really appreciated that about it, though. I don't know what you're gonna say.
Well, I think part of the conceit is, I think the conceit, as far as a found footage film, at least it makes some kind of sense why he's there. And I kind of appreciated that they put at least a little bit of thought into why all of this is being filmed. And I do kind of like the kind of, how Mark Duplass, you can tell that there's something wrong with him and there's something off about him,
right?
But they keep you guessing as to what it is and how deep it goes as far as what his his psychosis or creepiness really is. Yeah, I definitely got the sense that a lot of this was definitely got the sense it was a lot of this was improvised. The whole like I don't want to ruin anything any more than we probably already have to an extent, but the whole time you first see Peachfuzz, I felt like he just made that up on the spot, especially that little thing he does. And then the other part of it, I honestly, Tubby Time, it was something I felt like was something that was like an outtake from the league. I really think that like I could see somebody in the league having Tubby Time, like it's Andre or something, or Taco or something. And I thought that was creepily hilarious, although it was extremely unsettling watching him do it.
Yeah, I agree. And I like, too, how a lot of the stuff that... There were times that I agree with you that it was actually really... I did laugh out loud a few times. I don't know if it was a combination of how ridiculous it was and also how uncomfortable I was as well. The whole Tubby Time thing, you're entirely right. But I loved the whole stuff with Peachfuzz, how that turns. And for me, probably for me, it was one of the scariest parts of the film.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I don't know. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I did. And I think it's part of a planned trilogy. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next if that actually occurs. But I don't want to say. I feel like if I say it's a horror film, that I mean, it is. But it's not your typical horror film. There's not a lot of gore in it at all, if any, really, right? And it's not, I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to figure out a way to explain it so people's expectations are in line with what they're going to view. Because I would hate somebody to walk into this thinking it's going to be, some just slasher flick type thing. And that's not what it is. So, but I really think this is something that could be enjoyed.
Yeah, I would probably I wouldn't classify this as a horror film. I would classify this more as like a thriller kind of a thing. And I think it kind of straddles that line. It takes kind of that aspect of like cringe comedy and like kind of like under the cruelty that's in cringe comedy, and kind of takes that to a complete extreme and kind of goes into this whole other genre of the thriller. So I think it's kind of like those two things mashed together on top of found footage.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm with you. I wasn't really into it when I first watched it. I thought it was it kind of took me out of it, but as it went, I ended up really liking it.
Good. I feel like I like to think that this is Duplass's character in the league, but this is who he really is.
So what's his name in the league? Pete is really just somebody, he's a character that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
That's his Patrick Bateman type thing. Yeah.
Maybe we can start writing letters or sending things to his Twitter handle. And maybe for the last season of the league, that's what the final shot will be.
That wouldn't be good if he shows up as Peachfuzz or something.
Yeah, exactly.
In Ruxin's closet. I think that'd be a great way for them to end that show. So interesting. All right. So I'm assuming then you're recommending it then from what
I mean, it's on Netflix. I would definitely give it a check out. Just kind of stick with it. And I think there's a good chance that you'll end up liking it. I think it's definitely worth a try.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. As you said, it's on Netflix right now, streaming, so you can check that out. You can also buy or rent it off of iTunes and all your other digital places as well if you wanted to see it. So, but if you have Netflix streaming, no point in paying extra to see it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've seen Creep, I would love to hear your thoughts. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. Matt, I've been considering it every now and then, kind of excising this segment of the show unless something really important is coming up. And this week, I pretty much don't even have to. But we're talking about the Blu-ray DVD picks. There's really nothing coming out. The only thing is the Jermaine Clement film, What We Do in the Shadows, which we consider doing for the show this week. Includes commentary by him, as well as some deleted scenes and behind-the-scenes featurettes. And that's it. That's really the only big release coming out. There's some new stuff to Blu-ray. Criterion is giving us My Beautiful Laundrette, which is one of Stephen Frears' first films on Blu-ray. And Scream Factory is giving us I, Madman. If you're not familiar with that, it's a reasonably entertaining horror film from the 80s. You can get that from Scream Factory. And then, of course, the classic Dolph Lundgren, Brandon Lee, Tia Carrera film, Showdown in Little Tokyo, is finally getting its Blu-ray release. Do we say finally? Was there any anticipation?
Far too long. Yeah, far too long.
Anytime Tia Carrera can get some royalties, I'm all on board for that. And then what else? The Vincent Price, Peter Cushing film, Madhouse. Lesser Vincent Price, I think, but still that's getting released on Blu-ray. And then the U.S. version of Black Sabbath, the Boris Karloff horror anthology that I'm actually a big fan of. It was on Netflix for a while, streaming. I'm not sure if it still is, but if it is, you should definitely watch it. This is the U.S. version, though, which is a little edited. It's got a different score. And then also some of the stuff isn't as graphic, and they removed kind of the incestual subtext from one of the vignettes. Anyway, if you can get it, stick with the original Italian version. But if you want to buy the U.S. version, now you can.
Fantastic.
And then, Matt, I love this one. Your straight to DVD pick of the week. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Kung Fu and Titties.
Well, they cut right down to the chase, don't they?
Well, bear with me. It's not what you think.
That's hard to believe.
Richard Titties, an out-of-shape martial arts wannabe. See, that's his last name.
Gotcha.
It's not pornographic. So he's an out-of-shape martial arts wannabe, and he's shot into an alternate dimension where his girlfriend, Cynthia, she gets kidnapped. Her captors are a group of, all right, well, here we go. I'm going to say boob. Obsessed madman led by Zephyros, the master of the supernatural realm. Zephyros kidnaps women for the sole purpose of seeing their memories. Richard joins up with his sister, Rain Brown, a gorilla, and a gaggle of other strange characters. Thank you for the Oxford comma there. And then in order to save his girlfriend, he must search inside, overcome his futile martial arts skills, and find the kung fu fighter within if he's to save himself and all those that dwell in the alternate world. And that's Kung Fu and Breasts.
Wow. It's fantastic.
There you go. So you got any news for us this week?
Yeah, I got a few things. So as we all know, we're big fans of the Lego movie here, and they're doing a Lego spinoff of one of the breakout stars of that film, which is Will Arnett's Batman. So Michael Cera has been announced as playing the boy wonder Robin to Will Arnett's Batman, which I think you can both agree that we're pretty excited for this. Yeah,
I think so. I'm not in the anti-Michael Cera camp. I know there seems to be like an underground movement where there's a bit of a backlash now against Sarah for some reason that I'm not quite sure about. So no, I'm excited for that, and I like that. And is Will Forte still going to be Batman?
Will Arnett, yes.
Will Arnett, sorry, yes. Will Arnett. Thank you. I get all my Wills confused.
So it's a reuniting of George Michael and Job.
Awesome.
That we all wanted.
I'm looking forward to that. Sure, why not?
Okay. So EW has released our first images of X-Men Apocalypse. Have you had a chance to check them out?
You know what? I did just today. I saw Olivia Munn as Psylocke, and it never really occurred to me before how ridiculously sexist that costume is. It serves no purpose, as what is she? She dies, and her mind shows up in the body of this ninja assassin, right?
Right. So basically the story is that she is British, and she was actually Captain Britain's sister, and she gets killed.
Betsy Braddock, that's right.
Yeah, Betsy Braddock. And she gets her consciousness gets put into the mind or into the body of like a hand-trained ninja, and she gets all these crazy psychic powers.
Naturally.
Yeah, of course. So there you go.
So
Not
anyway, the
complicated
Psylocke costume though is it's patently ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. It was actually pretty terrible. And what did you think of Apocalypse there?
Fine, good.
It looks basically like the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy to me.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Like the Ronin, the Accuser look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that might be true. I'm wondering too how they're going to handle the. I understand that it's going to take place in the 80s, right? So
right.
that they can use Fassbender, Magneto, and McAvoy, Xavier.
Yep.
Man, it kills me that the 80s was 30 years ago at this point.
It was. Yeah. Crazy.
I'm like, wait a minute, 80s. Why would you go young? Why would you go that young? Why would you go with Fassbender? The 80s was only 30 years ago.
Yeah, 30 years ago, right? Now it's getting sickening.
Yeah.
So I know you'll be super excited about this. Resident Evil 6 is going to begin filming shortly for a fall 2016 release. I don't think I've ever seen any of those all the way through beyond the first one.
Oh, no?
No.
I had this weird thing a while back, a year or so ago, where I don't know if it was around Halloween or I don't remember what it was, but I had this weird desire that I wanted to watch all of them.
Okay.
So I picked up like a DVD set of like the first 4, and then I watched the other one that was on Netflix. I don't remember what the hell it was. Doesn't matter.
Right.
I don't know why I did that. I don't know, like if I remembered they were supposed to be better than they were or something. I don't know. But I've seen them all. And I'll probably see the next one, I guess. I don't know. I like seeing Mila Jovovich kick a bunch of butt. Is she in the next one? I'm assuming she is.
Oh, of course. Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I think part of it was, too, is that there was a new one coming out. And I confess, I still don't really understand half the time what the hell's going on.
Right.
Like, what's up with the Umbrella Corporation? And is she a clone? Is she the original one yet? I know they're clones. Is the original dead? I can't really follow the central thesis of the Resident Evil films. And I think my mistake may be that there isn't one.
Yeah. You're basing it off of a PlayStation video game. Those things are basically incomprehensible anyway.
All right. So I shouldn't be so hard on myself.
You shouldn't.
All
All right, so let's see what else. I got two more items here. So Joss Whedon has said that he will not make a director's cut of Avengers Age of Ultron. And as you probably remember, there was a lot of hoopla about how the studio made him cut out some sections of Age of Ultron. And there is some thought amongst the fan community that this would have made it more of a coherent film. But basically, what he had to say on the matter is my instinct is no. Just as an artist, I'm super fucking lazy, and that sounds like it would be hard. I don't think there's interest in it right now. You'll see a bunch of stuff on the DVD and extras that were meant to be there, but the narrative came together very close to the way that I hoped it would, and I don't think it needs to be constantly tweaked. So I you know what? I respect that. You know, he's probably ready to be, you know what, I'm kind of done with this right now. I really don't want to go back and try and edit anything into it. So suck it, nerd. You're stuck with what you get.
I get that. I mean, I do get that. It gets to a point where if you dedicate that much time of your life into a project, and now people want you to go back just to add like 10 minits in,
right?
I could see where you'd be like, "Not to hell with that. I'm not doing that." But part of me, I would still like to see that. To be honest with you, I always like to see the director's cut or the fuller version of films. Most of the time, it's not worth it, but other times you get stuff like The Exorcist when they put the spider walk thing back in.
Right.
How creepy was that? It was nice to see that full version. And I'm sure there's some other ones I'm not remembering. But yeah.
Blade Runner.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. Star Trek 2.
Yep.
We finally know why Scotty's so upset about that kid dying.
Yep.
So, yeah. I don't know. Sure. Good for him. What's it? You know what? The film was bloated as it was.
Right.
And I wasn't exactly blown away by it. So, you know, if this was like a Dark Knight, say that like Christopher Nolan had like 20 minutes of other footage in the Dark Knight that he didn't use, that I would want to see. But this, whatever. All right.
So no forthcoming rogue cut of Age of Ultron. All right. And then finally, this is a kind of a weird one. Do you remember The Last Starfighter, Chris? That old 80s movie where you played a video game and you became a starfighter in a galactic war?
I don't think I've ever seen the a galactic war. I don't think I've ever seen the whole thing. I've seen bits of it, and when I was a kid, and it never really made me want to see the rest of it.
Well, I'm a big sci-fi fan, so I do remember seeing it. I don't hold it in very high regard, but interestingly enough, the rights were owned by the writer, and he didn't actually realize that he owned the rights until relatively recently. So now he's decided that he's no, apparently not. So he is now developing a Starfighter Chronicles TV series. But here's the kicker: he is designing it to be used in conjunction with a company that is producing content for the new slate of VR helmets that are coming out. So like the Oculus Rift and all that kind of stuff. So basically, when they're in the cockpits of the starfighters, you should be able to do things like 360-degree view while you're watching the show. That'd be cool. Yeah. Can we all just admit too that basically all that stuff's just going to go for porn? Yeah, I mean, really, that's really all they're developing for. Really, 70% of the use of that stuff will be for pornography, and then like a bunch for gaming, and then that'll be it. Right. I can only imagine the room you're going to have dedicated to your house for that kind of stuff. How dare you? For gaming? I'm not a big gamer. So I don't know what you're talking about. There's a couple other things I wanted to mention briefly, too. Okay. The rest of the last season of Comedy Bang Bang is on Netflix right now, which is a show I love. And then I don't know if you've seen this, Matt. I don't know if we've talked about it, but Bloom County is back. I know it's not movie related, but I was a huge fan of Bloom County growing up, and it's been gone for 25 years. And then on his Facebook page, 2 weeks ago, Berkeley Breathed, and I always thought it was Berkeley Breathed, but I guess Berkeley Breathed. He said, "Watch this space," and then boom, it's back. And he's put out a couple cartoons so far, and they've been pretty good too. And I'm just really excited about that. So if you're a Bloom County fan at all, congratulations. Yeah, that is pretty exciting. I did. That is one of the ones I used to read back in the day, back in the heady heydays of comics. I still have two. Let me if I can grab it. I have some of them right here. They've always moved. With me. See, so you can see the compilation, the first 5 years. Yep. It's funny too when you read it now because it's so rooted in the 80s. Right. That it's kind of an odd read. It's a bit of a time capsule. And another thing too, I picked up today, Matt. I just wanted to show everybody. I'm very excited. $12.99 at Target plus 10% cartwheel discount. Ooh, very nice. So I'll be watching that very soon. Very nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go pick that up. I'm being very stingy with my buying movies lately, but I think that's going to be one that's going to deserve a buy. I would agree. And for the audio listeners only, that was, of course, I'm holding up my copy of the It Follows Blu-ray, and previous was my 5-year collection of Bloom County cartoons. Okay. Matt, let's transition over to Call It. See if we can wrap this episode up in a half an hour. Wow. That would be nice, streamlined stuff. And you know what it was? It was skipping the Blu-ray stuff. That's it. That's what it is. Right. All right. So if you're not familiar with Call It, this is the segment where we present two options to each other and we have to choose one or the other. Usually the rules being then that other thing is gone forever. It's as if it never existed. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's why it makes it a little harder. So Matt, I'll start things off. All right. So if you haven't heard or seen, this week is Ian McKellen's portrayal of Sherlock Holmes in Mr. Holmes. It's playing here locally. I'm very excited, so I'll be going to check it out this weekend. He plays an older, kind of retired Sherlock Holmes who's telling stories to a young kid, and then they kind of get involved in a little mystery. So I can't wait to check it out. So, Matt, call it. Who's your better Sherlock Holmes, Basil Rathbone or Jeremy Brett? Or if you want to throw it in, I'll give you Robert Downey Jr., but he doesn't really qualify. Yeah, don't even bother putting in Robert Downey Jr. I'm going to go with Rathbone. That's what I'm going with. I'm assuming it's purely a nostalgia pick for you? Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the classic pick. I mean, it's kind of the thing that laid the foundation of Holmes on screen. So, yeah, I think without it, I think, you don't have that kind of iconic image of Holmes in your mind. So I think you have to have that. Yeah, I think it's fair. And that's probably what I would go with if I was, an idiot. So I'm going to go with Jeremy Brett. The reason just that I think his interpretation of the character for me has always been the truest to the books. I don't know if I've read all of them, but I've read a bunch of them. And I've always loved the character, and I thought Jeremy Brett's portrayal was dead on.
I loved the Granada TV show when it was on. My dad got me into it. He got me into the whole Sherlock Holmes thing through that. So, though I did watch the Rathbone films when I was a little kid, but still, I think Jeremy Brett for me will always be Sherlock Holmes. What kills me is that when I was a kid, we had audio book versions of Sherlock Holmes TV shows with Jeremy Brett, and I can't remember. There were two different Watsons. I can't blanking on the names right now. So we had them on audio tape, and I've been looking for them forever now. Maybe on CD or on online or whatever on iTunes. I can never find them anywhere. They're nowhere to be found.
Really?
I thought somebody would have some type of audio archive of these, but there aren't any out there.
Interesting.
So it's disappointing.
You may want to try, kind of off topic here, but maybe, I'm sure you tried the extra legal means, but you might want to check your library. A lot of libraries now have online collections of audiobooks and things like that, and some of the ones they have are pretty old and obscure, so you may want to try it.
I do go to my local library, though I haven't gone to one since I've been here in Tampa.
Sure.
But you're saying there's ways to listen online too from the library?
Yeah, if your local library has to participate, but yes, there are ways to get it. You can download it right to your phone or something for audiobooks.
Interesting. I was not aware of that. All right. So you went Rathbone, I went Brett. Fair enough.
All right, very good.
What we got?
All right, so you're going to definitely see a theme here going through my picks, but here we go. So there's been a lot of fatigue with comic book movies. I'm really starting to see a lot of people in the various pop culture blogs and geek blogs that I frequent really starting to do a lot of complaining about the amount of superheroes and comic book movies. So it got me thinking, I'm wondering whether their problem is that it's just stuff that they've seen before. It's something with a used property, or if it's just getting old. So you can only have one for every comic book movie going forward. They either have to A, stick religiously close to this comic book source material, or they can only take like an original interpretation. So for instance, for example, source material, let's just say, maybe not the best example, but Spider-Man 1, or an original take, which would be like something like The Dark Knight. Which would you rather go with?
Okay. Well, I feel like DC, for the most part, does the original versions of stuff. Right. And they do the adaptation stuff with their animated stuff. Then Marvel tends to try and focus more on the established properties. So if I had to choose, only get one or the other, I don't know. I think I'd probably just want to stick with original versions of stuff with different stories. I'd rather see different stories and stuff than things than I know of previously. I'm not as excited to watch. In fact, I can give you a perfect example. I've had the Dark Knight Returns animated film, the complete one, the Blu-ray, for 6-7 months now. I have yet to watch it.
Okay.
But I've seen the Dark Knight 24 times. I watched Batman Year One, the animated version, which was really good. Right. But I've watched it once, and I haven't had the need to really revisit it. So I don't know. I'd probably would go original concepts, original properties, and then I really need to see Infinity Gauntlet. Okay. Or Infinity War, I guess is what they're calling it. Yeah. What would you say?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think if you're, especially with comic books, you can easily find, the classic stories in their original forms. So I guess it's to me, it'd be more interesting if they just kind of took the base of the character and just assume everybody knows everything they need to know about that character and just write other movies. And I would really like if Marvel would start doing like what if type movies, or
that'll never happen.
Well, or DC doing Elseworld type stories. I think those things would be really interesting to watch. I'd really like to watch like, a Kingdom Come or a Red Sun or something like that, much more than I'd like to watch some classic Superman story or, kind of the status quo Superman story that we get now.
Well, I think what's interesting about that idea is that I think the what ifs always expand off of existing plot lines. Mm-hmm. like what if Thor killed the Hulk? What if Spider-Man kept the Black Cat symbiote? They're always expanding on existing storylines, while the Elseworlds are entirely different concepts.
Right.
So I think there's a bit of a difference there, and I would love to see, and I'm not sure why they haven't done it yet, an animated version of Kingdom Come. I feel like that one's begging to be done, and they haven't done that yet. Or Crisis on Infinite Earths. I'd love to see Terminal Velocity. It's one of my favorite Flash storylines. So, I don't know. I could see in Elseworlds, I'd like to see like a Gotham by Gaslight movie.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. But I don't care so much about what if Fred Hembeck destroys the Marvel Universe. Though actually, I might want to see that.
Well, I guess, maybe What If is a bad example. I mean, Marvel does have their own version of Elseworlds. You've got, Marvel 1602 or Spider-Gwen that's out right now. So I would go with, I just would rather see those types of things. I mean, you can only watch the same, as much as I love Spider-Man stories or X-Men stories over and over and over again. I would like to see people just say, here's the property, here's the IP, do what you want with it. It doesn't really matter because it's not in any kind of continuity. It's just a one-shot thing.
All right. Yeah, I don't think the properties that they'd want to do that. I think they'd probably find it too risky, because what if one of them just totally dies? Then the whole property is radioactive for like 5 years, 10 years, and you can't do anything with it because you wanted to see Spider-Man as a Victorian statesman or something. I don't know. Fair enough. All right, so we hinted about this one last week in our last show, Matt, so I'm just going to give it to you. Okay. But I'm going to make it harder. Call it Terminator, the first one, or Aliens. He said this would be a harder decision for you, but we never got an answer. So which it's going to be?
One has to go away completely?
Yep. Never existed.
That's friggin' tough.
But I will, oddly enough, I don't know if I should grant you Terminator 2. Because if Terminator ever existed, then there's no Terminator movies. Right. And I think that solves your dilemma right there.
Yeah.
Right? So I think you would definitely go Terminator at that point. Though you're just dealing with 2 films. With the Aliens franchise, you're only really dealing with 2 films as well.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be honest here. God. Terminator laid the groundwork for so much stuff. It really is, James Cameron's really first film, right? So is it his true first film, Terminator?
I think so. Well, that wasn't like Corman. Didn't he direct something for Corman via an Alias or something?
I don't know. I think that is the first true James Cameron film, right?
Yeah, we'll find out. So go ahead and keep going.
All right. So if you don't have Terminator, then you don't have James Cameron, potentially, right? Who never maybe does Aliens, and you never...
Well, if you tackle it that way, then...
No, I'm just kind of putting it out there. And then...
Yep.
Obviously, would Arnie even be his biggest star? I don't know.
That's a lot. That's true. That's an impact I hadn't really considered.
Yeah, is that, then what are his roles? Conan the Barbarian and Commando, which all came out around the same time. I don't think without the Terminator he becomes a big deal. But you know what? I'm still going to go with Aliens. I still think Aliens is the more fun film to watch. I still will watch Aliens probably once a year, whereas the Terminator is probably once every few years.
So we directed a little film called Xenogenesis in 1978, which is a short film, so we're not going to count that. His big one, actually, I was right. Roger Corman, was Piranha 2: The Spawning. I knew that's what it was.
That is a classic of cinema, but still.
And then,
no, I'm thinking I'm going to go with Aliens. That's the one I'm going to keep. I have way too much affection for that film to just...
Even if I say the Terminator franchise goes away, you're condemning Arnold Schwarzenegger to a life of commandos. It's a fair point I hadn't considered. His career, does it stall? What's he do instead?
Now we've moved into a territory of time travel paradox here about what's the lesser of the two evils, because I like Aliens better, but I think there's a much bigger impact if Terminator's never around. And then here's the other thing. So if Aliens never comes around, then you don't get the atrocities of Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection and Prometheus. Although, I I understand that I'm just screwing Arnie over. Then we don't have the Governator, but I'm still gonna go with Aliens just because I like it better.
So here's the top 10 films for 1984 in place of so Terminator was number 8. So we take that one out.
Yeah.
So would Arnie have been casting Ghostbusters? No. Beverly Hills Cop?
Nope.
This is a huge year. Temple of Doom?
Maybe as the guy who sacrifices people.
Gremlins?
Yeah.
What if you played Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid?
No.
Police Academy, I could see him in.
Now I could see him as like Hightower or something in Police Academy.
Footloose, maybe in the John Lithgow, right? The John Lithgow role?
Yeah.
For Romancing the Stone.
No.
I think I have it right here. This bothers me too. Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. He's a Klingon in that. I'm fairly confident that's what happens.
He would replace Christopher Lloyd.
I think so.
The Klingon.
I think so. I think that's what happens. And then that's it. I think it's over at that point.
But and I know the list is probably not there, but I would be really curious to know what number 11 was.
Yeah, that I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah.
Opposed to 10. Chud? You could have been in Chud. It's quite possible. You could have been in Mastriani's Henry IV.
So, but let me ask you this, not to even go on another tangent here. So if...
Ice Pirates. Go ahead, what? Johnny Dangerously? Sorry.
Huh? Okay, so Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator, awesome. Terminator 2, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Conan the Barbarian.
Not horrible, but not good.
But like, okay, so what other like Predator? We don't get Predator. I think it's like what other classic action movie role like that you couldn't live without? I mean, True Lies. I mean, who really ever talks about True Lies anymore? I mean, Kindergarten Cop, Red, whatever that was with Jim Belushi.
Yeah, but you're talking. What about Twins? Total Recall.
I guess Total Recall. I think a ridiculous classic.
I don't think you should discount True Lies either. That's a great little film, even though HBO loves that film to death. That's for sure. Last Action Hero, highly underrated. But then you know what? Maybe there's no Batman and Robin.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
that might be worth it. And then you got the Expendables films, and then all the new stuff he's done. Running Man, Raw Deal. Ooh.
Didn't Running Man come out before Terminator? Or right after?
87.
Okay.
Right afterwards, you had his appearance in Red Sonja, and then using Commando, Raw Deal, Predator, The Running Man, Red Heat.
Yeah, that's tough, man. A world without Arnold. So what do you pick? I think I know which way you're going to go just because of that, because I know how much you love Arnie.
I do, but Terminator does have that god-awful love scene between Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton. When the strings...
Yeah, but he's probably a virgin. This is a virgin.
That's true. They drive that home in Genesis too. When the strings rise during that scene, it's so bad. It is so bad. It's not Watchmen bad, which I think is the absolute worst sex scene in the history of cinema.
Yeah.
If I had to choose, I think Aliens is a better film than Terminator.
Yeah.
I think Terminator is more influential. So I had to choose one to watch for the rest of my life. Just that strict, cold criterion, I'm going to go Aliens.
Okay.
If I have to examine the impact of that, of Terminator going away, then I have to choose Terminator. Just because I don't get a Terminator 2, I don't get to redefine the entire action genre. I don't get to get liquid metal. I don't get all the new special effects. All that stuff doesn't happen, which then maybe means Avatar doesn't happen, and then I'm probably in a better mood most of the time.
Right, and you're probably about $1,000 richer on all of the 3D worthless movies that you spent money on.
That's right. All right. What do you got?
All right. So here, call it. Okay. Congress has passed a law. They're saying screw this shit. We're tired of this Hollywood. This is the way it's going to be. They either pass a decree that says...
Am I Jimmy Hollywood in this? Go ahead.
Yes, we're talking to you.
Or Johnny Hollywood. I can't remember which it is.
You are. And you, Johnny, and your brother, Jimmy.
Okay. President of
no more reboots, slash reimaginings. You can only make sequels or adaptations of existing properties, or the opposite, no sequels of any kind, only reboots that are allowed for existing franchises. Which do you pick?
I go the non-reboot route. I can't handle watching reboots every few years. Spider-Man alone was to get me out of that mold. I can't watch one more Spider-Man reboot. I can't do it.
Okay, but let me, before you, that sounds good in theory, but now I'm going to put this to your test here. All right. So that means no Batman Begins. Nothing like that, because then the only thing you could have would be a sequel to Batman. Well, really, I guess if you really want to be super technical, is the Batman 66 you would have had to start from Adam West Batman and then just have sequels forever. You wouldn't even have the Tim Burton version of the Batman.
I can't. My starting point can't be Christopher Nolan's Batman Begins.
Well, no, it can be, but what I'm saying is that that's the world you're going to live in. That basically the only version of Batman that you're ever going to get is Christopher Nolan's Batman, and then therefore.
Here's the problem. Go ahead.
But if he doesn't want to come back, then he never does it.
Here's the problem with your theory. Is then if I just get reboots, am I getting reboots every other year? Or am I not getting a new film for a generation?
I guess it really depends. I mean, you wouldn't have... Basically, if you would have, I don't know, you wouldn't have X2. Like, you'd have X-Men and then no X2. You'd have The Hangover, but you would never have Hangover 2 or 3, which is not a bad thing, but that's basically what you have. You have absolutely no sequels.
So you're robbing me of The Dark Knight.
Right.
And Terminator 2, which is just ridiculous.
Right.
That's
but
ridiculous.
if you had only sequels, then you wouldn't have had some of those movies to begin with anyway. So
you want to say that I have to choose between reboots, or I get to have something like the James Bond franchise my entire life? Yeah, I think I know which way I'm going. So that's my answer. What about you?
Well, so you're no reboots?
No.
Just sequels?
Hell with it. No. I'll go sequels, and you just do the James Bond thing where you insert a different Batman every 3 or 4 films.
Okay.
You just keep it going.
Just keep it going with that Joel Schumacher continuity.
First off, it'd be Tim Burton, technically, right? Because that's our starting point. Did you see with the new one of the Arkham Knight skins? They're doing the
I did see that. That is pretty sweet. That is
and
pretty
Batmobile.
Sweet. That is
I'm excited about that. Anyway, answer your question.
I guess I would go. Yeah, I guess I'd have to go new reboots. There's too many sequels that I like too much. Like Aliens, like the last one we just freaking talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a stupid question.
Listen, man, I was trying to come up with this stuff on the fly here, okay?
That's right. That's fair. All right. So I love this one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure how I'm going to answer this. So you're casting your next big budget film. It's one of those great scripts everybody wants to do. You get to get your pick of director, Matt, whoever you want. You get to have this film. It's going to be one of the greatest action films of all time. Everything is coming together. You get all the special effects people you want. You get the director you want. It's got the screenplay has already won awards somehow. And now you're down to 2 leading men, Jake Courtney or Sam Worthington. Who do you hire?
Oh, Jesus.
What I love about this question is that I get to get rid of one of them forever. But you have to cast one on your film.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna keep Jay Courtney, I guess, because at least Jay Courtney seems like more of a blank slate that just takes on the aspects of the actors and everything around him, whereas Sam Worthington, I feel, really is like a lead weight tied around the ankle of the film, and just really drags it down. So I'm gonna keep Jay Courtney. Again,
you're wrong. I am going to go with Sam Worthington. I think I can squeeze something out of Worthington. wherein I feel Courtney is just I feel like every time he's on screen, I want to punch him in the face, even though I know he would level me if I even came within 5 feet of him. But I can't. I think he has. All right. I feel like Worthington was thrust upon us, and we didn't really have a choice, just like Courtney was. But I feel like, unlike Courtney, I can stomach Worthington in certain types of roles. I think I can do it if he's cast properly, or he's given the right dialogue, or if he has a strong enough director that can mold him and move him and, direct him. Courtney, I don't think he's got it. I don't think he can do it. I just think he's just going to be the automaton that he is in every role. I don't think that I have no redeeming, anything for him. I don't know. I just can't handle it. If I had to cast him I would have to go Worthington. I have to. Courtney, just for me, is just so. Every film I've ever seen him in, I can't take it. He's not smarmy. I feel like he's not smart enough to be smart. I don't know what it is. I can't stand the guy. I don't know what
he's offensively inoffensive.
Yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. I mean, he's just ridiculous. I can't wait to see him in Suicide Squad. I'm sure he's really going to redeem the whole property for me.
Who is he in Suicide Squad?
He's George. Oh, yeah, he's Captain Boomerang.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Captain Boomerang is pretty ridiculous anyway, so.
I wonder if he'll use his Australian accent, because he is Australian. That'll be interesting.
Wasn't Jay Courtney in Spartacus, the TV show?
I don't know. I don't care. Yes, he was for 10 episodes in 2010.
Okay.
Listen to this. But he was in Jack Reacher, which I thought he wasn't horrible in that. He played the hitman, like the heavy in Jack Reacher, and Tom Cruise got to beat him up, so that was good. He was horrible as Jack McClane in Good Day to Die Hard. He was in I, Frankenstein, which I never even saw. The Divergent films, haven't seen it. And then, of course, in Terminator. I really haven't had that much exposure to him to hate him, but there it is. My buddy Jay Courtney.
Okay. What else you got?
More?
I had one more, but I realized it's basically the same question of one I've already asked, so I'm not going to ask it.
All right. So in honor of Will Ferrell's birthday, I'm not going to give you Anchorman because that's too easy a decision. One of these is gone forever. Talladega Nights,
okay,
or The Other Guys, in honor of Will Ferrell's birthday.
Let's see if I get this question right. I think I'm going to keep. Talladega Nights.
Wrong again.
Come on, I can't. I don't know. I can't live without talk about baby Jesus. I just can't.
It is good, but I think The Other Guys is so strong, and I think particularly Mark Wahlberg is exceptionally good in that film. I have to go Other Guys on that. Talladega Nights has some great moments in it, but the whole stuff with Sacha Baron Cohen is okay. It's funny, and it's actually funnier the second time I saw it than it was the first time.
Right.
But I still got to go Other Guys. I don't know. I just love it. I love Michael Keaton quoting TLC all the time without realizing it, supposedly. I don't know. I'd have to go Other Guys over Talladega Nights.
Yeah, I think Other Guys is probably. I think Talladega Nights starts to run a little long and starts to drag there towards after a while. But I think the parts that are of Talladega Nights that are really funny are funnier than the funniest parts of The Other Guys. Although I think Other Guys is more consistent. I mean, Gator is a work of art, really.
That's true. Gator's bitches better be using Jimmy's, one of my all-time favorite movie lines. All right. Well, yeah, I think that's how I would describe it. I would agree with you. So I don't understand why you didn't choose Other Guys, because it's more consistently funny. Just because Talladega Nights had more laugh out loud moments.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, that's.
Well, I guess I'm just nothing but disappointed,
but understandable reason,
because all my answers were wrong apparently.
That's right. I'm used to it. So I hope the audience doesn't mind that drubbing that you just took, but that's fine. So next week, Matt, is a huge freaking week. I can't begin to tell you all the great stuff that's coming out. You have Ant-Man, Trainwreck, and Mr. Holmes are all being released Friday. I'm going to see all three of those films. I'm not sure when or how, but it's going to happen. The missus is going away all next week, so I get a pretty good feeling it's going to happen at some point next week.
Considering you don't really know anybody down there and you're going to be pretty bored.
Exactly. And I took a day off too, so that might be it. So odds are we're going to come back with Ant-Man, and then we'll fill you in on the rest.
Well, if you want me to talk about a movie, that's what it's going to be.
All right. Fair enough. Ant-Man it is. In the meantime, check us out. We're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Do a search for The First Run. We'll come right up. Always hit thefirstrun.com and check us out on iTunes and YouTube to listen and or watch the big show. Shoot us an email at feedback@thefirstrun.com. We'd love to hear from you. I am desperate at this point. And that's the big show. Anything else, Matt?
No, that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks for sitting in and joining me, and thanks for listening. We'll take an extended break, and we'll see you all in a week.
Turns out you can't keep a 14-year-old you married in Mexico, even if you bought her fair and square and have the receipt.